Did you know it's completely possible to make doctor and lawyer income as a teacher these days? In fact, there's online tutors making 7 figures or more doing what they love. And after coaching over 3,500 teachers, I identified the 3 major roadblocks that stops teachers transitioning out the classroom, building their online tutoring business, and scaling to 7 figures and beyond. And so I recorded a video a while back that shows you each bottleneck, no matter where you're starting from. So if you're just getting started, you're in the classroom, if you're already tutoring online, or if you're looking to scale, I'm going to show you exactly what that roadblock is for you based on where you're at inside of your online tutoring journey. So jump into this video. I recorded it a while back. I know you're going to love it, and it's going to help you get to the next level in your online tutoring business. Let's go. Okay, here's how to get more students so you can scale your tutoring business to 6 or 7 figures and beyond. You see, back in 2015, I decided to quit teaching. Pretty obvious why. Here's my bank statement. I was in my overdraft every single month. This was 14th of February, 2015. Look at that, minus £443, and it was only the 15th of the month. So I had really no option but to quit. And I wanted more. I wanted freedom. Freedom to control my schedule, freedom to choose my income, and actually live life on my own terms. So then fast forward to 2017, 2 years after leaving, I'd spent 9 months, 9 exhausting months at that time, building my first online course. I thought, this is it. You know, once this course is ready, all I need to do is launch some ads and the clients were going to start pouring in. Only that didn't happen. So I'd studied all of the social media courses you could imagine out there to learn all of these skills and strategies to get clients online. I was great at setting up all of the tech. I really thought I was a master at this point because I also had an amazing product too that I knew was going to help people. But every time that I went to launch a new advertising campaign, nothing but crickets. I kept telling myself, Elliot, you only fail if you quit. But my bank account had dwindled down to the last £100 I had, and I was in danger of not being able to support my wife and daughter. So I was really in the last chance saloon, and I knew I needed to find something that would work and not keep taking risks that weren't going to pay off. But for me, quitting wasn't an option. I wanted this. I knew I was capable. I wanted to make it work, and I was willing to do whatever it took. So I swallowed my pride. I asked my mum, hey, Mum, I need this loan. I need to borrow some money to hire this coach that I've been following because I know it can help me change it. It was my last shot. And you see here on the screen, in just 2 weeks, I'd done 14 grand. Right? In 2 weeks, I'd spent 9 months trying things on my own and failing it. And in 2 weeks, things changed. I enrolled 157 clients. And so for the first time, I thought I'd crack the code to enrolling clients predictably online. Suddenly I had the freedom to work from anywhere I wanted, to start living the life I dreamed of. I was making consistent 10K a month in my business online. I was traveling to places like Bali here with my daughter, Australia, Philippines, New York City, Los Angeles, sometimes for a month at a time. And that's when it hit me. If I can do this, I can start teaching other teachers to grow their own online tutoring business so that we can impact more students, because teaching was where my passion laid, right? And so I believe that there's never been a better window of opportunity to grow your online tutoring business than right now. And you're only one simple marketing strategy away from being able to scale your student base so you can impact more students and build the business that you've always dreamed of. And so now I've helped over 2,500 teachers, and that's growing daily, master the art of predictable student acquisition specifically for online tutoring. I've even become a best-selling author in the process with my book, Teaching on Your Own Terms. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. You can see here on the screen, it was featured in Times Square, New York City. So it's safe to say we're helping teachers grow their businesses online and impact more students. I've even helped clients like Dalton 4x her business, and in just 10 months, she scaled it to over $1 million. Okay, that's what's possible. Okay, she even grew it past that and went to 500 grand Canadian in a single month, cash collected. And so in the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to show you the 3 keys to mastering student enrollment and scaling your online tutoring business, you can finally experience the freedom, impact, and financial stability that you deserve. So the first thing I want to talk to you about then is premium positioning. How to position yourself to attract your ideal students that pay you a premium rate. Because if you get this wrong, you are set up to fail right from the beginning when it comes to enrolling students predictably online. And that's because the online tutoring market is growing fast, right? It's a booming industry, and that just means there's more competition, which is okay if you're positioned correctly. There's more tutors who are tapping into this industry and realizing there's a golden window of opportunity. So look, the online tutoring space growing fast between 2024 to 2028, 19.83% CAGR. That's capital annual growth rate. Forbes says 15%. And above is a booming industry. We're in a booming industry. 318 billion growth between those years. So of course there's going to be more competition, but there's more upside if you're positioned correctly. So if you aren't positioned correctly though, obviously you're just going to blend in like another pebble on the beach, look the same as everybody else, which means you stay stuck in a price war, charging low hourly rates that then gives you poor margins to advertise. So you can't charge enough, you can't keep pushing that money back into advertising to grow your business and tap into this opportunity. So you stay stuck relying on referrals. And your positioning determines all of that. It determines the rate that you can charge, how quickly you can fill your calendar with your ideal students wanting to hire and work with you. Because if you don't have the right margins, again, you can't invest into advertising, you can't hire teachers to help you grow. Okay. And then you're not even going to attract your ideal students in the first place that can actually be grouped together. And it's the positioning that does determine all of this. So we've got to get this right first before you think about launching your next ad. So here's some steps that you can take right now to ensure that you're positioned correctly. The first thing is to build what we call a signature tutoring offer. You've got to become the chiropractor for your tutoring niche or specialist subject field. Just like the guy down here, if someone's got back pain, they know they're going to go to the chiropractor. They're not going to call up their general practitioner. They could do, but they're going to get better results and faster results with the chiropractor because the chiropractor is going to give them a rehabilitation plan that they trust in and they believe that works. So they're going to pay the chiropractor a premium rate to do that. Okay. So to help you build a signature tutoring offer, you've got to stop casting a wide net and trying to attract all of the students out there. So you've really got to answer these 5 things. 1, which subject are you an expert at teaching in? Easy, right? Let's say it's reading. Okay, well then the next thing is who needs the most help learning that subject? So where is there most demand from the students? Let's say it's in kindergarten, for example, or let's say it's first grade or second grade at school or primary school in the UK. Then what does that student want to achieve? Well, if it's reading, maybe it's just read on grade level. Maybe it's jump 2 reading grades. Now, if it's a different subject, maybe it's guitar, maybe it's play the first song, maybe it's land a gig in a band, maybe it's become fluent in Spanish, maybe it's score a 1500 SAT score, maybe it's get into a certain college, maybe it's gain a scholarship. What is the result that the student wants to achieve in that subject right now? That's what's most important to them right now, okay? Now, they don't just want that result. Yes, they want it now, and that's what they want to achieve. But what's their dream outcome? What is that result going to give them? So if it's the parent who wants their kid to read on grade level, maybe they want them to excel in all of their other core subjects at school. If it's the person who wants to play the song on the guitar, maybe they want to become a musician. Maybe it's the student who wants to score that top test score so they can get into the college of their dreams. So you've really got to be able to communicate this to your ideal students so they see you as their leader, okay? And then the last bit is, like I said, the chiropractor, he gives his patients a rehabilitation plan so they know how they're going to get results, right? Well, you've then got to communicate how do you help your students, because otherwise you just look the same as everybody else. So you've got to give your students a plan, and you've got to communicate this plan of what's the first thing, second thing, third thing, and so on, of how the student's going to get results. What do they need to do first, second, third, fourth? Now, once you can answer all of these things, you can now build a compelling marketing message that's going to appeal to your ideal students. Now you've got something to work with, okay, or market with. Right now, it's one thing having a good offer, but you do need the right pricing structure to make this work. As I said, otherwise you won't have the margin to grow. So I'm going to run you through the math of how to price your tutoring offer as well. Now, this is based, of course, after we've worked with thousands of teachers at this point, so we've kind of seen what works. And so it does slightly depend upon your experience, your start point. But I'm going to give you some examples here, okay? Now, in the beginning, like you're probably going to charge somewhere between $500 to $1,000 for about 12 weeks of tutoring. Now, you do not charge by the month because, again, you don't build the margins to be able to throw back into the advertising, and you're not getting much commitment from the students, okay? So you really want to be making sure there's a minimum commitment of 12 weeks. That gives you way more predictability in your business. And as I said, more commitment from the student side, more chance of seeing results, right? And that's what's important. Now, we have tutors, I will say, charging $3,500 upwards, but let's just use $1,000. Okay, so let's say you're charging $1,000 or £1,000 for 12 weeks of tutoring. So then you enroll 5 students because you've got the right offer. Obviously, you're going to need the right strategy to get the students in, which we're going to come on to in a bit. But let's say you teach 5 students in a group. That's $5,000. 5 students has 2 one-hour classes per week. So 2 hours of teaching with 5 students. Now, again, you could scale the student numbers in the class, but I'd start with 5 minimum. So let's say now that next month, with the right strategy to bring students in, the right offer, you can form 2 groups of 5 students, 10 students total. That's $10,000. And you're just teaching 4 hours a week, right? If each group has 2 hours per week. Now you scale it to 25 students. Each group, so that's 5 students in a group, 5 groups, that's 10 hours a week, right, of teaching. Plus, if you've enrolled 25 students, $1,000, that's $25,000. Okay, and if they see you, if that's a 12-week sign-up period, every 12 weeks, $25,000, around about $100K a year. That's a 6-figure business right there. Now, this is obviously just you at minimum. Now you can scale it. So you can either increase the rates based on the results that you've got, or you might even be charging more already. Well, great. You could increase the group size. So you could take the group size to 10. We've got tutors who are working with 50 students in a group. That does depend, of course, on the subject and the age. Absolutely. Or, of course, you hire tutors. And again, you might be at that point in your business now. You're just probably lacking 1 or 2 things, probably the right offer to get new students in the door or get them reaching out consistently and attract your ideal students, right? So just for example, let's say that you grow the 5 students in a group to just 10 students in a group, offer dependent, of course, subject dependent, age dependent. But if you did that, you've doubled your business. Okay, you go to $200,000 a year. If you were to use the same model here and hire 2 tutors, that's $300,000 a year with the same model. Okay, because you've got a good pricing structure that allows you to scale profitably and predictably. Okay, and then from there, it's really just more, either more students in a group, more tutors, okay, or you can keep increasing your rate, okay? Now, I even taught this to Quinita, this pricing model. We positioned her correctly. She was actually a classroom teacher at the time in an elementary school, okay? We went online with Quinita. She started teaching reading to elementary kids. She was charging about $2,200 for 16 weeks of tutoring. 12 weeks after leaving teaching, look, she'd done $50,000. And she was a classroom teacher. So everybody is telling you that online tutoring space is overcrowded. It's a price war. But I'm showing you, I'm not just telling you, I'm showing you that with the right offer, you can attract your ideal students, your dream students, that happily pay you what you deserve. Guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book, and it shares with you the exact 5 steps that I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me. But I know you're going to love it. Teaching on your own terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments and go and pick up your copy today. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing that I want to talk to you about, and that's how to create demand for your online tutoring services. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is so that you don't ever have to worry about where your next student's coming from again, because your inbox is flooded with new inquiries. And so most tutors rely on one of the following ways to get students. Referrals, which are great. There's nothing wrong with a referral. The thing is they're unpredictable and they're slow. If you're reliant upon them, great, you might get a few students here and there, but it's not predictable, okay? Or building a website. And the truth is, a website looks great, again. It's nice, shiny, has a lot of info on it, but it's just creating window shoppers. Okay, and that's even if people find it, because a website's kind of like building a shop in a desert. Think about it. It's got an About You page on it, tells people about your services, probably got some pricing on, maybe it's got some case studies and student results. And so people are browsing through it and they're not taking the action that you want them to take, and that's book in to speak with you. They probably look at it and it gives them the light bulb moment to go and type into Google to look at other tutoring websites. So you've got to get rid of your website, okay? Or you could be posting on social media, again, great, but it's time consuming. It's not targeted. Your ideal students aren't seeing your posts consistently enough for you to grow fast and predictably. Or there's the other mistake of hiring a marketing agency. A marketing agency that has probably worked with no more than 5 other online tutoring businesses, if that, okay? And plus it's expensive and you've actually got no control. You're reliant upon somebody else to get you students, and that's not good, okay? So the key is to use a laser targeted advertising strategy, a very simple one like this, okay? So to simply just run an ad on Facebook and Instagram, and you can use things like video and things like that to connect with your audience, and then to make the rest of the process very simple. So we call this conversation control. So your goal from an ad is to get into a conversation with a parent or student as fast as possible. So we found the best ways to do this are either run what we call messenger ads, because it allows you to actually communicate, establish rapport, build trust, okay? And then get people booked into a call fast, or send them to a simple page where the only action is to book in a call where you're detailing how you can help on that page. And they've only got really one action, and that's get onto your calendar and book a call. At which point you can collect things like name, email, phone number, that type of stuff. That's going to be key for you down the line when you're following up, which I'm going to talk to you about in a bit. So you can see this, very, very easy, right? It's not complicated, okay? We call this conversation control, as I said, because it allows you to get into a conversation with the parents and students way faster, okay? Tutu went from 0 to 2,000 students using this, okay? And she was a former secondary school maths teacher. She even enrolled 18 students in a single day. She then scaled it to 122 grand in a single month. So if Tutu can do it, there's no reason why you can't, right? She's not a better teacher. She doesn't have more time. She's not smarter particularly, but she had the right process to get students in the door and create demand, okay? Because without demand, you just don't have a business, you know? And it just means if you don't know where your next student's coming from, well, think about it. Leads and sales for your business are like what food is for your body, okay? If you don't have food, your body's going to starve. So you need a fast and predictable way to get students in and booked onto your calendar so you have the opportunity to sell your amazing services. And the longer you leave it before learning this, the more opportunity other tutors are having and the more students you're missing out on. Unlike the stock market, right? The winners are the people who get in at the right time, okay? So they can grow faster. And that time for tutors to master this skill is clearly now. So the last bit then is enrolling students. So the final step I want to share with you is how to start enrolling students by converting those leads into paying students. And this is because research shows that only 2 to 5% of people buy the first time that they see something. You've probably heard the saying, the fortune is in the follow-up, right? So it's no good getting a ton of leads if you're not converting them into sales on clients. And the reason why most tutors fail with this is they don't build what I call a conveyor belt right? Where you get the lead and then you need to nurture the lead, build trust, educate them on why what you do works and how it can work for them specifically, okay, before you actually have a conversation with them, okay, on Zoom, wherever that might be, to enroll them. And then to make sure if they don't enroll the first time, because you can see that stat up there, only 2 to 5% of people buy the first time they see something, they stay on this conveyor belt until they're ready to buy. And so here's a look at what we call the student acquisition system. So I shared this with you previously, the ad, the way to get people to book on your calendar. And then before you actually have a conversation with someone, you need to educate them, whether that's through email, whether it's through providing them some homework, perhaps, so that they can actually understand how you're going to help, how it works, and then how it can work for them. Now, if they don't enroll on Zoom, you can just keep them inside of this student acquisition system. You're continuing to educate and value them, essentially that follow-up process, right? So think about it. What would they need to know? Why group tutoring works, okay? Why online tutoring works, okay? Why having a tutor is the key to their child's success. If you're not educating them on these things, then obviously you're not planting the seed and doing a lot of the selling up front. So you need to have a process in place that is doing a lot of the selling up front for you, and that's going to help you grow and scale way faster, okay? So Tara was a classroom teacher. She went from 0 students, 0 online tutoring business. In 3 months, she replaced her entire teaching salary, okay? And then 8 months, she'd scaled to 106 students, and they've just done 20 grand in a single month, okay? Laurie was using my student acquisition system. We set this up inside of her business. In 2 years, Laurie scaled to 7 figures. Okay, this is me presenting Laurie with our 7-figure Tutor Club award at one of our live in-person events in New York City there. Okay, I remember in her first few months, she was stuck at about 6 figures in her business. So she's already working online, but then we were able to kind of double that. She went to 20K. And then as I said, she went to 7 figures in 2 years. Okay, so the best way to build a fully automated student acquisition system is, of course, to find someone who's already developed this so you can literally just model it. And more about that in a bit. And so one of the most common questions I get is, Elliot, can you help me get more leads, convert those leads into students that will actually enroll for group tutoring classes so I never need to worry about where my next student's coming from again? And the answer is yes. That's why I built my Students on Demand system, where we focus on 3 things: positioning, enrollment, and scalable delivery. So key elements behind it, as I've been sharing with you, are positioning. So that's all about packaging your expertise into a signature tutoring offer so you stand out in the marketplace with a unique message and program, which means you will be able to attract your ideal students that pay you premium rates and can actually be grouped together so you can scale faster. Next thing is enrollment. So that's where we install our student acquisition system into your business. You can get in front of new students and parents to create demand consistently, but then have everything you need to turn that demand into desire and convert the leads into sales, okay? Which means you can actually quickly fill your group classes. But that's not it. The last thing you want is a bucket with a hole in it where you're bringing in students and they're just dropping out the bottom. You need a scalable delivery system, okay? So we teach you how to deliver world-class online group tutoring classes. That means that you can teach just a few hours a week, or your team, if you've already got a team, and get your students life-changing results without you being stuck in front of Zoom jail all day. But it means you can then take those results, put them back into your acquisition system to make the sales process way easier and faster for you. So if you were to implement the system and work hard in as little as 30 days, you'd have a predictable system up and running to start enrolling new students at will. So you never need to worry where your next student's coming from again, and you can scale your income, your impact, without scaling your workload. Now, if that sounds good, just a few things to point out. Now, this is not by any means a get-rich-quick thing, okay? It takes time, commitment, the right coaching and strategies to make it work. And obviously, you're building a business that could last a lifetime. So you can only imagine how this could scale for you within the next 5 years if you move fast. Bearing in mind, it also takes 4 years to get a teaching degree to teach in a school. So expecting to just show up and scale a business to the level that you want to with no commitment of time, energy, investment, that's not in alignment with that thinking. right? So we're going to be teaching you how to fish so you can become dependent with new skill sets that, if used correctly, could be worth millions to you, as you've already seen. Okay, so whether you've got no students at all right now, whether you've got students but your enrollment's just unpredictable, you've got a seasonal business, or even if you're already enrolling students and you're just looking for something to bolt on so you can scale faster, the plan that we're going to help you build on your call will help you. And when you attend that call as well, I'm even going to give you a private Vault workshop training that I did, the 10 best ways to get new students, where I filmed a 1-hour lesson all around if someone had a gun to my head and I only had 24 hours to get my next student, there's only 10 things I would do. Now, this is based on all of my experience over 5 years of working with teachers, helping them build their online tutoring businesses online. So it's safe to say there's some absolute gold nuggets in there. So we're going to make sure you get access to that on the call. So isn't it worth investing literally just 45 minutes on that call if it could affect the next 20, perhaps even 40 years of your life? Okay, so picture a day when you wake up and see all the notifications on your phone because you're flooded with new tutoring leads. Picture a day when a lead jumps on Zoom with you and you present a price for your tutoring program and they say, yes, that's fine. How do we sign up? And you didn't even really need to do any selling because you were doing it up front. Just like my client, Tori, who enrolled a client into her $3,000 12-week ACT prep program. So picture a day when you have a business bringing in 6 or 7 figures and you got the freedom to do whatever you want and deserve whilst you're impacting students, more students than you ever thought possible. This is me with my family this year in Thailand, where we went on a 3-month trip. I'm going to leave you with this. Back when I was trying to figure out how to get my first online clients, I tried literally every single strategy that you can imagine. And I will say this, I've now been able to use those exact same strategies that weren't working back then. I've now used them successfully in my businesses. And so have my clients, the same strategies I've been able to teach to them. And that's because I didn't have the right, back then I didn't have the right offer. I didn't have the right coaching. I didn't have the right accountability to make those strategies work. Because here's the thing, if all it took was launching an ad or learning some social media strategy, we could all just type into Google or YouTube these days, and that's all it would take, right? But it doesn't work like that. Okay, my success only came when I hired a mentor. That's when everything changed very fast as well. And as Tony Robbins says, success is modeled. If you want to be successful, find someone who's achieved the results you want and model what they'll do, and you'll achieve the same results. Success leaves clues. People who succeed at the highest level are doing something differently than everybody else does. Successful people know the shortcut is to find somebody who already knows what they're doing and just model them. Successful people are looking for the fastest path to see results. And the reason why I say this is because I wish that I operated like that in the beginning and I actually had the mindset of someone successful back then. You know, I wouldn't have wasted all of that time and money trying to figure things out alone. And you don't need to do that because our results in life are a direct reflection of decisions that we actually have the power to make, right? Because our decisions come from the way that we think about things. So for you to build something that's more predictable, that's going to get you students in faster, we've got to start making decisions, different decisions to get different results, right? And you deserve to make the income you've dreamed of and never have to worry about where your next student's coming from again. You deserve to make the income you've dreamed of for possessing the skill sets that you have as an educator. You deserve to make the income you've dreamed of for educating our future generations. You deserve to make the income you've dreamed of. And so speed is key. Don't miss this window of opportunity to master the art of predictable student acquisition so you can scale your online tutoring business, impact more students. Do not let this boat sail because this window of opportunity has never been greater, and this is all you are missing. So before you call, check out some of the case studies on this page so you can really see what's possible with this, or check us out online. Make sure to show up. Obviously, we don't deal with people who don't follow through with what they say, okay? And because We want you to take your business seriously. We're going to build you out a plan that can transform your business. Okay, so we want you to commit to that, because otherwise, how are you ever going to implement the plan that we're going to help you build? So with that in mind, show up in a quiet place, bring a clean sheet of paper and something to take notes with to get that plan down. It's not something that can just be emailed to you. So make sure you show up, not in the car, not doing the shopping. We want to make sure you get value on the call. Okay, so with that in mind, see you on the call. Get ready to start enrolling more students and creating more impact. And so that's it. That's the entire roadmap to go from classroom teacher all the way to 7-figure online tutoring business owner. Now, if you want to get our help based on where you're at currently as an online tutor or classroom teacher inside of our Students on Demand program, there'll be a link somewhere below this video. You can click that, watch the video, fill out the application to see if you're a qualified fit, and then just book in a call with us and we'll walk you through exactly how the Students on Demand program can work for you. See you in the next video.